Hello and welcome to this edition of National Focus. I'm Kimani. Coming up, the new Bells water supply project on schedule. The Inland Revenue encourages Dominicans to use the e-tax filing system this tax season, and the relationship between Dominica and the FAO described as excellent. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories after this.
If you can believe this,
come by my house and let me show you some movies.
why can't you believe this? Some mothers don't believe their own children when they say they've been sexually abused, and they don't report it. Remember, if anyone asks to see or touch their private parts, touches them inappropriately, shows them or forces them to touch one's private parts, has sex with them, shows them pornographic material, or deliberately lets them hear or see the act of sex, then it is sexual abuse. Believe your child and report the sexual abuse. For more information about child abuse, contact these agencies. This message brought to you by UNICEF and this station.
Thank you for staying with us. The Inland Revenue Division reports that the e-tax filing system introduced in October of 2013 is taking off. In an exclusive interview with Ian Anthony, Assistant Comptroller at the division, GIS News learned that more Dominicans are using the system.
We've had a number of returns filed on the e-filing system, most of VAT, but the system caters to file not just VAT returns, but personal income tax, corporation tax and excise tax as well. We're now in what we call the filing season for personal income tax returns, and so we're seeing quite a few persons registering to use the system. And so by way of update, we are now gearing up to use that system more for the filing of personal income tax returns.
He says the process of filing taxes online is very simple. Currently, the tax filing season is on, and Anthony is encouraging Dominicans to use the system.
The deadline to file those returns is the 31st of March, so we will encourage the taxpayers to make use of the system, make it easier for them to comply with the requirements as well as for us. There's an added advantage filing online in that the calculations that have to be done when you do paper-based, you don't need to do them online. Even the various areas on the paper form where you carry the same figure across, you don't need to do that online. So for example, if an employee is filing online the personal income tax return, they would just need to, and we're talking about the typical employee, the person would just enter their employment income for 2014, the resident allowance that they're entitled to. They would enter the PAYE, and that's about it. The system does the rest. So on the paper form, you have to carry figures, the same figure sometimes 5 times. That you don't need to do online. So while the process might appear to be the same, at least the amount of time that is spent is significantly cut down because of that.
The division will soon upgrade the system for e-payments and the filing of other taxes that are currently excluded. GIS News will bring you more from this interview in tomorrow's newscasts. Sub-Regional Coordinator for the Food and Agriculture Organization FAO in the Caribbean, Dr. Deep Ford, says the UN-based organization will continue to assist Dominica in its efforts to combat the black sigatoka disease. GIS News spoke with Dr. Ford on Thursday about FAO's role in managing the spread of the destructive disease in Dominica.
In the past, FAO has been very instrumental in terms of making assistance available, particularly in the form of a Cuban consultant, an expert in black sigatoka, who has come to Dominica on at least 2 occasions in the last 2 years, providing guidelines for how this particular disease might be treated, might be controlled. Again, the scare continues, the problem is still very much there, and we are in the process of making that person available again to see what might be possible. There are always responsibilities at several levels, things that farmers must do, things that the government must do, things that technical persons must do, and we're hoping that that kind of comprehensive, collaborative approach with the international institutions, with the regional institutions, working at the national level, with the national level points of contact, that we can really make a difference.
Black sigatoka is a destructive foliar disease that affects plantain and banana plants. The government of Dominica has spent a significant amount of financial resources and partnered with regional and international agencies to manage the spread of the disease. Meantime, Dr. Ford, who arrived on island earlier this week, met with Honorable Minister for Agriculture Johnson Drago and technical officers attached to that ministry.
My first meeting was with 9 technicians, technical level persons, directors of agriculture, fisheries, forestry, the head of the school feeding program, the chief nutritionist, etc. So we had a long meeting yesterday, an extensive meeting, where we talked about the school feeding program, we talked about fisheries issues, we talked about agriculture issues, and we're sort of scoping out what is happening on the ground, what are some particular opportunities, what are some gaps that FAO might fill. I indicate very clearly that at the regional level within our office in Barbados, we've got a fisheries officer that is available to this country like it is to the other countries. We've got a forestry officer, we've got a policy officer, we even have a governance officer, we've got a food security officer. We just brought in, starting in January, an agricultural statistician, and we know that there's some work that needs to be done here on the agricultural census, and we're going to be working on that as well very shortly with Mr. Winston McGlure. So there are a lot of areas that came up in that very first meeting pointing to particular collaborative work areas for us.
The FAO official has described the relationship between Dominica and the UN body as excellent.
Most recently, within the last 2 years, we've had a project here looking at disaster risk management, and we've established a disaster risk management and agriculture sector plan. Clearly, climate change is an issue. A year ago, we had the low trough problem in St. Lucia, Dominica, and St. Vincent. FAO responded to that by providing resources, human and financial, for rehabilitation of farms that were affected during that period. So we do several areas of work simultaneously. Obviously, agricultural production and productivity is a major area. We talked for a moment ago about the banana sector. Food and nutrition security is a very critical area. We've prepared a plan, a food and nutrition security plan, and a policy and a plan of action for Dominica.
GIS News will bring you more from that interview with Dr. Ford in a subsequent newscast. The Honorable Education and Human Resource Development Minister has revealed that the Dominica State College will be key in the delivery process of technical vocational education and training, TVET. TVET comprises formal, non-formal, and informal learning for the world of work. Individuals learn specific trades, crafts, and careers at various levels, or a high professional practitioner position in careers such as engineering, accountancy, nursing, medicine, architecture, and law. Honorable Saint-Jean says his administration is aware of the integral role agriculture and tourism play in the country's development, and as such are seeking to introduce the schools of agriculture and hospitality. The Honorable Minister is convinced that the Dominica State College has the potential to be a catalyst of change in the Dominican workforce as it relates to this initiative.
There is need for us to ensure that we fully exploit and develop those two sectors. But for us to be effective in that respect, the Ministry of Education, the Dominica State College, must position itself to deliver, because effectively what we want to see, the State College becomes a modern institution that offers programs that are relevant and that meet not just our current needs, but the needs of the nation going forward.
GIS News took a tour of the new Bells water supply project on Wednesday with Honorable MP for the area, Kelvadaro. GIS's Jana Hector brings us this report.
The DLP administration continues to work on improving the lives of the citizens of Dominica. GIS News took a tour of one of government's most recent projects, the Bells water supply project. On Wednesday, January 14th, GIS News was at the site of this major project, where government is preparing to bring pipe-borne water to the people of Bells, Penrice and Pocasset. Construction of the first of 2 storage tanks located on Lot 1 under Mount Wapito in Pocasset began in August of 2014 and will run for 40 weeks. Honorable Kelva Daru, parliamentary representative for the area, says he is satisfied with the progress of the project to date.
2 contracts were awarded, one to Caribbean Concrete Limited and the other to Edgar Robinson's and Associate. Currently we are on Lot 1, which comprises a 40,000 gallon storage tank. This is being done by Caribbean Concrete Limited. They are responsible for the 2 storage tanks, the other one of 50,000 gallons, as well as the roads leading to the storage tanks and the laying of pipes from the source to the tanks.
This $4.6 million water project is significant to the people of the Bells, Penrice and Pocasset area, as this is the first time potable water is being taken to that part of the island. This project also aligns with the Millennium Development Goals.
The government of Dominica has undertaken a very progressive project towards the bringing of pipe-borne water to homes across the country. We are on target to achieving our Millennium Development Goals, where we already have about 95% of the entire country with pipe-borne water. And when this project is completed, it will be of major benefits to the residents of Bells, Penrice and Pocasset. Of course, within the community of Bells, we have a primary school. We also have a health center, and we are now we also have several homes in that area which will benefit significantly from this water project. I am sure that this project will have significant benefit as it relates particularly to the issue of healthy drinking water, because although Bells is a heavy rainfall area, while it is true that there are many rivers and streams through the area, but the source of these waters, it is not something that can be considered safe for drinking all the time. So that's why it is necessary that the government has spent in excess of $4.5 million to ensure that we can have healthy, safe, potable water.
Construction of this second tank, contracted to Edgar Robinson and Associates, began in September of 2014 and will last for 30 weeks. This tank, which will be fed by the first, is expected to bring a steady supply of water to the community. Of major importance to Honorable Daru is how this project will impact the environment. The MP indicated that the contractors and the WASCO, who are the supervisors for this project, also took into consideration the environmental factors in the planning and execution of the project. Also taken into consideration were the size and location of the storage tanks. Honorable Daru says this project was planned with the future in mind.
Bells is a very expansive area. The first tank will primarily supply areas of Pocasset, with the intention to also go down to Sylvania and Layo Park as well. And the second tank will be more or less for the Bells proper area. I believe that one of the reasons for that is because of how widespread the area is. You also have to look at the future development of the area. As you realize, the government of Dominica just completed the road in this area, and a number of the private landowners have begun to sell land in the area. So we expect to see tremendous development in that area in the not distant future. So with that development, we have to ensure that the water supply is powerful enough to supply some of the residential homes in the area, as well as some of the commercial activity that will be taking place in the area.
Although the terrain and heavy rainfall in the area can be a major challenge, Honorable Daru is satisfied that this project will be complete in time, and the people of this part of the island will soon enjoy clean, healthy drinking water. For GIS News, I'm Jana Hector.
Thank you, Jana, for that report. And finally, the La Plaine constituency will soon benefit from improved housing stock and road networks in this new term under the Dominica Labour Party administration. That's according to the Honorable Minister for Education and Human Resource Development, Peter Saint-Jean, who is also a parliamentary representative for that constituency.
In the last term, we focused on development of the roads, infrastructural development, police stations and health centers or schools are all in tip-top shape. Right now I have just about 4 roads within the constituency that I need to focus on. Compared to my last term in office, this is almost insignificant. What we will focus on, though, is the housing stock. Because you see, we have a number of individuals in the constituency who retired in the late 70s and 80s. And right now they do not have a steady source of income that can sustain their families and to take care of their dwelling houses. So we have some, I mean, what one would consider nice houses, but when you get into them, you look at the roof of this house, and it's in deplorable state.
Honorable Sergeant says another major project to come on stream will be the improvement of road conditions from Bois-Diab to Point Milat, funded by the European Union.
We will see major works being done in certain segments of that road, and more so in the Mon-Odelis area, and significantly 4 of the bridges in my constituency will be addressed under that project. That is the Tabiri Bridge in La Plaine, the first bridge on entering La Plaine, the Laron Bridge, the Boetica Bridge, and the White River Bridge, where we have already constructed a bypass, and pretty soon we will see the replacement of that bridge.
He believes that there has to be a mechanism of constant maintenance of infrastructure within his constituency. Honorable Sergeant says the constituency has experienced tremendous growth under his watch as parliamentary representative and foresees more development in 2015.
Educationally, and of course you would expect that I would focus on the education of the constituency, but in the area of sports and youth development, we will continue, as PAL-Rep, will continue the development of sporting facilities in the area, more so in Dalis and Boetica. And of course, importantly, historically, traditionally, the constituency has been an agricultural-based constituency. And in this new term, I will continue to work with the farmers groups in the area, with young people, the cooperatives, to ensure that we see a revamping of agriculture.
Honorable Sergeant highlighted the exceptional work of the National Employment Program in transforming the aesthetics of his constituency while positively impacting the youth. The La Plaine constituency consists La Plaine, Boetica, and Dalis. And before we go, here are a few announcements. Private candidates registered to write the January 2015 CXC examinations are asked to collect their timetables from the local registrar's office during normal office hours. Please be guided accordingly. The Ministry of Justice, Immigration and National Security is giving notice that the High Court of Justice of the Commonwealth of Dominica will begin its sitting for the trial of criminal cases on Tuesday, the 13th day of January 2015 at 9 a.m. at the High Court, Bayfront, Roseau, with arraignment of accused persons. The Youth Development Division invites applications from young men and women wishing to pursue training under the Youth Skills Training Program in computer skills at the Castle Youth Center, Roseau Youth Enterprise Center, Grand Bay Youth Center, Portsmouth Youth Center, and Wesley Youth Center to commence in February 2015, and also electrical wiring at the Roseau Youth Center and woodwork. Application forms can be obtained from the Youth Development Division's office on 3 Charles Avenue, Goodwill, or from the district youth officers, and should be returned no later than January 30th, 2015. The Roseau City Council wishes to advise vendors selling marketable commodities on the sidewalks on Old Street, King George V Street, Cross Street, Independence Street, and other areas in the city that they should desist from this practice effective 31st January 2015. In accordance with legislation, all marketable commodities must be sold at the designated place, that is the Roseau Market. Vendors refusing to comply will be prosecuted. Persons wishing to vend for the carnival season must obtain and fill out the necessary application forms at the office of the Roseau City Council and pay the associated fees prior to erection of bars or stalls on the sidewalks for Carnival Monday and Tuesday, February 16th and 17th, 2015 respectively, and also outside of the respective venues where carnival activities are being held in the city of Roseau. Bars or stalls erected without the necessary authorization of the council will be confiscated and a fee will be imposed for repossession of the same. The Forestry and Wildlife Division wishes to inform the general public that the official hunting and freshwater fishing season came to an end on December 31st, 2014, and there should be no hunting of game species nor taking of freshwater species. The division would also like to further remind the traveling public that an export permit is required to take wildlife out of the country. In this regard, the division will continue to issue export permits until January 31st, 2015. The division would like to thank the general public and its partners for their support throughout 2014 and wishes everyone a Happy New Year. And members of the public are reminded that in keeping with the provisions of Social Security Amendment Act 2 of 2012 and Social Security Amendment Regulations 4, 7, and 8 of 2012, the following changes are to take effect as of January 1st, 2015. Increase in pensionable age, that is the age at which an insured person who has satisfied the prescribed contributions conditions is entitled to receive age benefit, shall increase from 61.5 years, that is 61 years and 6 months, to 62 years. Notwithstanding the above stated increase, an insured person who has satisfied the necessary contribution requirements for receipt of an age benefit may at any time after attaining the age of 60 years opt to claim for the payment of a reducing age benefit. Increase in the contribution rate in respect of employees, self-employed persons, and voluntary contributors shall increase by 1/4 or 0.25%. Further clarification on these changes can be obtained from the Office of the Dominica Social Security. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with Creole Highlights.
Allô tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi, c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, projet de l'eau belle, qui a continué bien formidable. Membre Parlement Honorable Kelva Darou, visité le projet là, mercredi, semaine là.
Nous, place pour casser, et bien, ça nous a fait, le gouvernement a investi en projet pour l'eau, pour Moun Bells, Penrite et pour casser. Le projet ça, c'est un gros projet. Plus un pile de monde qui bénéficie. L'école là, health center là, et puis tout le monde qui a Western Bells pour casser, et puis un Penrite qui bénéficie du projet ça là. Le gouvernement a un projet pour mener l'eau pour tous les monde en Dominique. Ça, nous avons ça pipeline water. Et puis, le projet ça là fini. Nous sommes well advanced pour mener pipeline water pour le monde en haute caillou. Et puis, ça c'est un gros projet pour la communauté là. Ça c'est un projet moi j'ai promis ces monde là. Et puis, il a fait. Ça a fait moi happy. Je suis content. Et puis, moi bien ça. Là, il finit, c'est mon Bells, Penrite pour casser. Il y a des vivants pour le gouvernement là, pour faire projet ça là.
En d'autres nouvelles, le gouvernement Dominica a continué et puis révolution qui tout mon pays là. Constituency casse brusque a bénéficié. Ou la 10 familles qui tout de suite reçoivent une maison par bon compliment People's Republic of China qui bat assistance pour ces maisons là. Ces familles là, c'est Hudson 20. Good Hope et Petit Soufouien qui te perdu maison à yo pendant des désastres tchèques l'année qui passée. Membre Parlement Honorable Johnson Drago visité le projet là et puis fait parole qui et puis gouvernement Dominique qu'a commitment assister ces moun salam parce yo bien mérité et puis gouvernement Dominique bien plaisir pour ça. Honorable Drago aussi fait parole qui est bien satisfait manière travail qu'a progrès à ce projet là. Projet ça là qu'a expecté pour voir plus maison bâtie à cette même l'occasion là. les projets ça là qui fini, 70 moun qui bénéficié tapé travail. Ces moun là qui a bénéficié, qui a bien apprécié manière gouvernement Dominique vient devant et puis assister yo. En d'autres nouvelles, le département pompier qui a fait parole qui nouvelle yo aussi voyé l'année passée était bien significant. Parole ça là sorti le chef pompier Josiah Dioping. Selon ces incidents difficiles là, moun perdu autant et puis il faut cela depuis qu'il n'y a bon avis pour le public là.
Là nous avons parlé contre diffé, nous tenions ça 199 fire calls l'année qui passe. Mais ça nous voit c'est ça moun perdu contre diffé, ça monte aussi. L'année qui passe 2013 il était à 777,000 dollars à loss. Mais après, nous voyons ça monter 3,000 plis, moi 3,400. Comme ça, là nous voyons ces détails là, ça qu'a dit nous, c'est pour nous porter attention ça, c'est pour nous parler puis moun en public pour dire j'ai plus fort, ça y est pour faire pour protéger kaya yo, business yo, bien comme ça. Et aussi qu'a dit nous ni plus vigilance qu'on nous a fait travail à département des filles.
Département là aussi recognisé travailleurs qui travaillent bien formidable.
Nous aussi remercions 12 pompiers et en 12 là nous tenions qui spécial, ça c'est Fireman Donaldson Frederick parce que nous croyons en tous ces pompiers, ces officiers ça là qui travaillent plus meilleur département là, comme ça il fait moins content pour nous ça tout ces bail un petit trophée pour montrer comment chief et député et d'autres officiers là qui apprécient le travail là qu'il fait.
Et puis finalement, ministère de l'Éducation, Honorable Peter Saint-Jean, qui a créé assez national et puis teacher en général pour tenir en plus grande appréciation et puis l'amour pour l'éducation. Selon le ministre Saint-Jean, développement teacher qui a resté en priorité pour le gouvernement Labour Party, quand même est bien nécessaire pour nous une transformation bien radicale à une manière d'activer l'éducation et puis haute qualité. Il dit en dernier terme là, l'éducation tapée en transformation par programme TVET, mais est bien nécessaire avancer. Le ministère a des programmes là qui sont implémentés en 3 écoles gouvernement, qui sont implémentés en toutes les écoles en parmi ça qui privé. Le ministre Saint-Jean aussi fait parole que le ministère a gardé devant avancer l'éducation en état administratif. Honorable Saint-Jean fait parole que l'éducation a resté en grande priorité pour le gouvernement Dominique. Messieurs, mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelles en créole pour à présent. Non, moi, c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up, a tip for success.
Dominica is blessed with an abundance of water, but getting it to your home is an expensive venture. You have a responsibility to conserve water, to use it wisely. Remember the old adage, you never miss the water till the well runs dry. Think water, think life.
The black Sikatuka fungus can survive on banana and plantain leaves even after they have been cut from the tree. Farmers and hucksters are encouraged to use alternate cushioning material when moving produce from farm to the market. Do not use banana and plantain leaves as cushioning. It is against the law to move banana and plantain trash from the field. Obey the law and stop the spread of black Sikatuka today.
Reading numerous biographies on great people and from my own personal observations and encounters, I've realized that those who achieve greatness professionally and personally follow their passion. The reason why great people are few and far in between is because most people don't even know what their passion is. For those that don't know what their passion is, most of them don't follow it consistently. This is one of the main reasons why people don't reach their goals. Do you know what your passion is? If not, start the process of finding out. If you do know what your passion is, then follow it. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past national focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Kimani. Thank you for watching.